Good morning.
Good morning. We actually have some sunshine in Ohio today for a little bit.
I know. That's good. That's real good.
I know, and I'm like, is that really what it is? That's not just somebody's headlights really bright to my window. Let me not get too excited. It might go away. It's actually going to be like 63 today.
Good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it can stay like this and start going a little bit warmer. This is good.
Right. Ghost host.
Oh, how cute. Ghost.
We got a lot of good mornings here. Well, we are a couple minutes late because we were doing our normal chit chat and talk.
Yeah, right.
Relates. So what's your 5:30 talk on YouTube while we go through some of our good mornings?
This one is questions, but these are a little bit unique questions. A lady, one of the letters is from Germany, and she saw somebody in Germany, and they told her that she had 180,000 ghosts attached to her. So that'll be interesting. We'll touch on that.
I don't think I've ever.
And maybe that's Germany. I don't know.
I that might be a record for the amount of attachments
That's
that
right.
somebody is.
You never know. Never know.
That is not a competition.
No, it's certainly not.
Let's see. Helen says, if earthbound spirits drain people's energy, why doesn't Major make Mary Ann sick when he sleeps on her bed at night?
Oh, he's not on bed every night, but he weighs 11 pounds. I mean, he's not, and he doesn't really, I mean, if he's going to hang out around anybody, it's Ted he'll sleep on, but it's not every night. So, and again, he's just a little bitty thing.
Oh. Let's see. Hey, Sandy, our friend Sandy. Probably seen her at some of our events. She helped at the merry-go-round last time.
Yes, she did.
Speaking
of the merry-go-round museum, hope people are coming out. You know, why don't we throw it out there and see what they say about this?
Okay.
Go ahead.
You want so we've had concerns about vaccination requirements or test requirements for the event. How many of you are not coming because of needing a vaccine, or would you be more inclined, even if you were vaccinated, to come because you don't want to have to worry about digging out your card and proving it? So,
I'm torn. I would think people would think it's a safe place to come because of the requirements, but then other people were being too strict because they're over COVID. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know if we should take down the restrictions or not.
Right. So let us know.
Let us know what you think. Would that be something that is stopping you from coming? Or is that something that would want you to come? I'm curious to know what you guys think.
So while we start collecting answers, Renee says, are people who die in war, such as Ukraine, more likely to stick around as an earthbound spirit? How can they be helped?
I don't know about the soldiers there but I know when our soldiers die, especially, I shouldn't just pick out one, I'll say all of them. But when they die and I get invited to their funeral, they're not going to light. They want to go back and help their brothers. They're going to fight too. And so some of them, it has to be explained to them, you're going to do more harm than good if you do that. So I don't know. It's like, compared to the COVID thing, when all these people were dying, these people's bodies were just packed somewhere. And look how long before there were funerals. Some of them waited, some of them didn't. So it's your choice whether you go or not. With Ukraine, with the families being, moved to different countries, maybe once they see their families okay, they'll go into the light. They've got time. And who knows when their actual funeral will be before their families know they are actually dead. So it's hard to say. They could go either way on that.
Okay, so Sandy says, tell me again the restrictions for the events. So right now it said in order to sign up or to come, you have to have proof of vaccination or a negative test taken within 72 hours of the event. So Divine Energy says, I attend if you're asking for proof. I'm not vaccinated. So she prefers vaccinated. Melanie says the only thing stopping me from coming is an unable to get time off. Let's see.
So in other words, some of the reasons they're nothing to do with COVID. It's just that it's a Sunday or they can't get the time off or it's too far away or whatever.
Right. Ella Brooks says because she's down in Florida, that's what's stopping her.
Well, of course.
So that's like 4 or 5 people out of the 61 that are watching currently. So it's a very small pool.
Yeah.
Renee says she prefers vaccine requirements, but she's in Minnesota. Now, I will be honest. There are concert places that require it. If I were still going to concerts, I wouldn't go. I have my card and I wouldn't go. But to me, it becomes more of a, if you're too loud and political about it, either way, I'm not going because I don't want to get into the drama. But that's me. I don't think ours is drama. I've just watched people and I get the emails and the questions about it.
Yeah, I don't. Right.
And everybody's like, I was going to come until I had to have a vaccine card. I've watched people like start to sign up in store with the little barcodes and they go, oh, you got to have it. And then they put their phone down. So from the emails that I've read and, but at the same time, here our regulars are loving it. So I don't know what to do with this because,
well, the bottom line is this. People don't realize that what we have to pay to put these events on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't walk by and they don't call us in and say, hey, will you put a program on? And if we can't get the attendance, we can't do the program. Mm-hmm. So here's the dilemma. What do we do?
Right. And now there's a couple people coming in saying they're not vaxxed, more afraid of the shot than the COVID.
See?
Charles
but if they aren't vaxxed, would they wear a mask? Probably not, huh?
And then that becomes a whole other person of.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
Like Sandy just had the same question. What about requesting masks?
Yeah, well, that would be an option too. This is the thing. Ted and I, it was our choice to get shots and everything. And that, again, everybody's got their own opinion what they want to do. But Ted and I ended up with COVID. I was very, very sick in the hospital with it. And I don't want to do that again. And I guess that's what's got me worried. So I don't know. We have to think about this.
Yeah. I honestly, just due to health, I wasn't going to get it, but I had to get it for surgery. So the hospital would do it. I was sick for 2 weeks after getting the shot.
That's it. It affects everybody so differently. I don't know. I have to think about this.
Yeah, not trying to start a political debate. I'm ignoring.
No.
We're just asking for you guys because I've got money already into these buildings to even hold these dates.
Right.
So at this point, for a merry-go-round, I'm hoping we have enough to break even.
Yeah, and it's in all honesty, it's not worth our time and energy driving that far and setting up and tearing down. It's a long day, but if this is our living, so I don't know what we're going to do. We have to think about it.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, if I look at it this way too, did we ask the people at the Carousel Museum if they've had their shots?
Yeah, I was going to say, what if they
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So what about the seminary? Are they,
Right.
who knows if they've had them or not? I mean, when it was the law and everything had to be closed down, that was one thing. But now that things are open again, you go into a restaurant now, some of the wait staff have masks on, some don't. What does that mean? So
Mm-hmm.
is some being safe or some haven't been vaxxed? Who knows? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So it's rough. It's crazy
I'm
time.
sorry, because here comes Lewis. Oh my God, a political debate. What did I miss? No,
No, you
you're
didn't
trying
win
to avoid the
anything.
flame. um, so yeah, it seems kind of half and half from what I'm reading through here. But a lot of people are like, even if I am, I don't care if others, just wear a mask or not. Then others are like, the masks don't work, and you know. Um, so it seems to be about half and half from what I'm. And then somebody asked if we could Zoom, and I think it was our friend City.
If we
Not
could from what? The carousel
um,
museum?
the merry-go-round, yeah.
Oh my gosh, never. No, that we couldn't.
Um, but we couldn't Zoom it. um,
And
try the streaming.
the talk is not a normal 2 hour talk there because people want to go out and
Mhm.
investigate. That's the whole purpose of this one. So, I mean, we could tape the talk that wouldn't do any good. Plus, I've learned, and I'm sure Melissa agrees with me, that people sitting in an audience, most of them don't want to be captured on film someplace.
Well, and that becomes a whole different legal requirement for us.
Right. So, no,
Um, yeah. So that's the only thing.
no, that would not happen. No. Mm-mm.
So, if you are wanting to come, regardless of the vaccination, please go ahead and register, because otherwise we're going to be making some decisions soon. Um, on that merry-go-round event. Also, the seminary, we moved it once because of temperature and whatnot. And now I'm waiting for the whole, it was too cold then. Am I going to hear it's too hot now? Because
No,
it's
it
June.
should be okay. It's a brick building.
So,
Even if it's hot outside, it should be cool inside. I think that's fine.
yeah.
It's just,
Um,
it's easier to get, warm than it is to get, it's hard when it's freezing cold to get warm. So, yeah,
um,
I don't think so.
yeah. So that it's about half and half. And then we have, well, I should say a third. And the others are like, I'm okay either way. But they're either signed up, they're one of my helpers, or they're out of state. So oh, but Lewis says if anyone wants to start a GoFundMe for a plane ticket, I will show up all British tea and digestives. We'll get Lewis on a plane yet.
Yeah, one way or the other, right?
um, let's see. So yeah, the live in-person events aren't things that I can easily get around, like putting up for you guys to attend on Zoom. Unlike the book club, which we've had, people coming in and buying the book, getting the book. We've got plenty in store and on the website. We will have that, Zoom, base, which will put the link up sooner to the event happening. I don't want people getting confused with the Zoom link for book club for the Zoom link for the home sessions.
Right.
So, but if you want to email questions in ahead of time about the book,
Absolutely.
do that. That might be what helps get everything rolling, and you'll be able to listen to everything. The Zoom people should be able to talk amongst themselves on Zoom.
Of course.
But whether or not we're able to read a new question from Zoom out loud probably won't happen. So email your stuff in. And so, yeah, it's coming along nicely. I got a copy here that I need to sit down and read through. And but you know what happens when I sit down and I quit moving?
Right.
I fall asleep.
Right.
So, don't tell Sandy. Sandy mute your computer. Finishing up the Bridgerton season 2, like was sitting there relaxing because she wasn't here with me while I was trying to watch. You'd be like, "Oh my god," or "Hey, look at that man," you know. I was falling asleep, and I'm like, and it was a good season, but I had to go back and rewatch a few things because I was falling asleep.
No idea what that is. Never seen it.
No, historical romancer. I didn't think I'd be a fan. No, I didn't think I would like it, but it's actually really, really good.
Yeah,
The one
people
character,
talking about
Eloise, she's a very smart young lady and does not buy into the whole women are meant to play piano, read books, but be below the husband and do whatever they say. So her one-liners and quips and her look of disgust constantly in the show. I'm like, I love her.
it. Okay.
Oh yeah, Sandy. She's like the audacity.
Yeah, right.
So, um, yeah, Karen, I got your book right up front, hon, right at the register for you to pick up. Oh, good. And Adam, sorry, my mouth was moving faster than, but I'm glad that you're out of the hospital.
Good, great. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Um, so let's see. And Karen is joining us for the merry-go-round. So we got some more book
Yay.
cards.
We still have some spaces for Zoom this Friday.
Yeah, 9 spaces.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're looking at the 18th. Here is the link for the Zoom. We'll put that up for now. Let's see, making sure I didn't miss any questions. Here, yes, we see comments from both Facebook and YouTube. There are multiple channels we are streaming on. It's just how many are coming in at one whack. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're streaming to 7 places right now and get all of those comments on the screen. So, and I'm reading that while
you're talking.
Yes.
You're very good at that.
Like, apparently Lewis is a Bridgerton fan. Has a London or Mayfair is nothing like it is in Bridgerton.
Oh,
or maybe he's not a Bridgerton
here's
fan.
The inside information now. Okay.
So we might have to have a whole extra group for Bridgerton fans with Lewis.
Yeah.
Like, how accurate is this? And
right.
Some of this. Michelle says she's new here. How do you read help people with spirit on Zoom calls?
If you are calling on Zoom from where you think you have the problem and you have a spirit there, I can actually see it on Zoom, which we just found that out this past few months. I didn't know I could do that. And I still can't remove them, but at least I can tell you if it's a man or a woman, how old they are. If the right questions are asked, I can see, yes or no, or maybe. But definitely, and you certainly can call, and I will call you back. I'm only running about 4 weeks back now, so that's not bad. And yeah, it's picked up. I am doing houses again, with restrictions. So we won't even go there, but they're pretty good. And then people, some of them follow the suggestions and they get their houses cleared of whatever the problem is. So this is good.
Mm-hmm. And for new people, Marianne is not a psychic medium. So please don't sign up for Zoom wanting that kind of reading. That's not what happens here.
No, and the last one was a good example of that. Almost the last person that came on, because it's limited to how many people. We do the new people first, and then we go back and do the repeats. And there's a lot of repeats. But one of the last ones on the last Zoom, an older woman. So what's my health like? Am I going to be sick this year? I don't know, because I don't do that. Yeah, right. So don't call for that. It's about ghosts, negative energy, portals, little folk, questions like that.
So Coins and Ghouls says, question, if I smudge the basement, my living space, and put a quincead on the basement door, will that keep them from upstairs or bad idea?
If you smudge your living space and there's only one way into your living space, like say you do have you know, lodgings in the basement, if you smudge a couple of times one day and then the next day, do it 2 days in a row, and take the seed after 2 hours after you're done smudging and you tape it on that one entrance to come down, you'll probably be fine. And in all honesty, if you trap somebody down there, you'll know within 2 hours. So you could take the seat down.
Liz asks, have you ever been to the Cleveland Grays Armory? Just wondering if there's anyone hanging out there. It's a cool facility in history.
Yeah, there's a lot of different social clubs that have meetings there, and I was invited to do a talk there a number of years ago, and it's exactly what you would think. Yes, it's full.
Let's see, Renee, and I was looking to see if there was a previous, and I can't find it. If it is there, I apologize, Renee. She says, I recently heard that the death site is sacred. What do you think about this? But are death sites generally kind of like where people think just because somebody died in a house, that ghost is in that house? Like, how flat true is that across the board, maybe?
I don't think that's true at all, for the simple reason that earthbound spirits don't hang out. Let's use cemeteries as an example. I mean, they can't get energy from anybody there. And if somebody made the choice to stay, they're going to be around people, not on a street corner someplace where somebody was killed in a car accident. So I no, I don't think that that's the case at all. I think that they're pretty clear.
Let's see. Oh, Renee, thanks, Renee. She says, Marianne helped us identify our ghost on Zoom. It was great.
And she was good because she, which is unusual, she knew a couple of the people that were there, and the one person that she didn't know, she actually found. That she got enough information. So, you know, some of these people are getting terrific information. They really are. And it's working. I mean, people are, doing what is suggested, and they are clearing the houses. So this is good.
Lewis asks, when someone dies, does the spirit sit up immediately and climb out of the body, or do they kind of appear beside it?
It's almost like you see in the movies where somebody is laying flat on a bed and all of a sudden you see the spirit rise out of the body. But as soon as they're out, they're either out flitting around or standing next to the bed. When I go get called in to do people on life support, which of course, because of COVID, I can't get into these places now because you're not allowed. But when I used to be able to do that, the spirit was usually just standing right next to the bed. And but again, they can go anywhere that they want. A couple of times when I got called into these, I'd go in and the noise is the same from the machines, and there's definitely a certain odor that goes with that. And that's there, but there's no spirit. And the only way I will go to something like that is if your primary care doctor has declared you totally brain dead. That's the only way that I say that that person is actually dead. And but if the spirit's not there, that doesn't mean that they're out of the body or that they're still in the body, but they could be out and out flitting around someplace. They're just not there when I'm there. So I like it when the spirit is standing right there so I don't have to figure out if they're there or not.
Cindy's got kind of a two-parter. It says, does the portal in my house get in the way of my Earthbound, which is her brother-in-law? Says, I guess I'm asking if it's dangerous for his spirits.
Earthbound spirits don't communicate with one another. Exception kids. Kids do. But adults do not. They're aware of one another. And like Margie's house when we did it, the one ghost that wasn't out of a portal was telling us about different stuff. So they're aware of one another, but they don't hurt each other, no.
And Robin Says, if quin seeds are above all doors and your space is perfectly clear, would it be safe for Ouija boards? I already knew what you're.
No.
I get yelled at just because we have them in the store. I already knew.
I know, and I just try to ignore that when I'm in the store. I try to ignore that. No, and angel boards either. Just a different name. It's a Ouija board. No. No, you know what? You never know what you're going to pull in on a Ouija board. It is going to be an earthbound spirit, which means if you're doing it with enough intent and enough people around, you don't want to blow up in a portal. And so I would suggest not. I've already done, and Melissa Store is one of them, where a portal got blown open in one of your reading rooms.
Mm-hmm. And Ken's healing.
Right. So it's no, just don't do it. Same thing. I mean, I would suggest not doing that. The pendulum. I had somebody that one came in on a pendulum, and the house had been totally secure. Let's face it, nothing is 100%, and I think 99.999 is good, but don't tempt fate.
I already knew. Like, she's like, "Why do you sell these?" And I'm like, "To keep you in business."
Yeah, right. That's why.
Nadia says, I know you can't see crossed over spirits. Are you aware, though, whether quin seeds prevent entries to them?
It does not. It does not affect anybody that is from the light, your guardian angel, your spirit guides, your relatives that have died and are coming back and forth for visits. It only stops earthbound ones, none others.
We go, hey, Joe. Let's see. Have you ever seen Earthbound Spirits on live TV while hosts and guests chat? Like Good Morning America or something of the nature?
Yeah, no, and that's why I never thought I could see anything on Zoom, because in my world, this is a TV and interactive TV, but it's still a TV, and so no, I cannot. I had a Shaw from one of those faraway countries. I had done some work for one of his. I don't know. He was somebody that worked for this Shaw. I don't know what he was exactly. He just worked for him. And apparently he went back to his country and he told his boss what I did. And this Shaw got hold of me. Well, his people got hold of me. He has people. And his people got hold of me. And they said that he wanted to hire me to look at all of his staff on it. He somehow, this is before I knew I could do it on Zoom, on what he would have them on, like movies, and send them to me. And he was going to give me like a lot of money to do this. He even asked if I wanted a horse. It's like, no, I don't want a horse. And it was like, wow, no. So no, I cannot do that. I would be interested in doing it. Like now with all the political commercials on TV, I would love to see who's standing next to some of these people. But no, I can't do it. So yes, if I go to a rally, a political rally, I can see whoever the person is that's talking, if they've got something attached to them. But not over the TV. Can't do it.
So now what you're saying is if somebody has a business and they want to know if all of their employees are cursed or not, they could set up a Zoom with you.
They could. And there are... It's been done before. I'm sometimes I think I'm tighter than HIPAA. It was a prominent dance company that were hiring different dancers and primo ballerinas and all this stuff, and they wanted everybody checked to make sure they were all in the up and up. So, but then there are bank presidents that call me up, CEOs. Will I go through their bank and tell them if how all their employees are? No, I don't do that. So it's like, just because you're the boss doesn't mean you need to know everything.
Oh, right. That is not your
I mean,
business, sir.
yeah, it's like, no, I'm not going to be your spy for you. That's what it boils down to.
No, 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 no. Our friend Divine says, "Hello, ladies. Can you use something other than white sage to smudge a house or apartment, like flowers, sweetgrass?"
I like sweetgrass. Those are the only two that I recommend are sage and sweetgrass. Now the sage, sometimes there's a little lavender in it or a little, spruce in it. That's fine as long as the main ingredient is sage. Sage, I don't care if it's white sage, green, whatever. Sage is sage.
Mm-hmm. This is why I was chuckling before. Just Lewis says not to be a pot stirrer. Yes, you do. Have you ever met someone who claimed to do what you do, but you found out that they were lying out their ass?
You have no idea how often that happens. And I've gotten to the point that, you know, maybe they are. I mean, I don't know what their brains are like, but what I will do, and especially with, I hate to say, especially with teenagers, they've got their parents convinced that they can do what they say and see what they do. So, when I go into a house, it's like, so is your ghost here? And if he says yes, then I'll go, well, where is he? And he'll tell me. And if I don't see it, then I won't say, no, it's not there, but I will say this, well, then you must be seeing ones that crossed over because I can't see it. But that's the best way to do it sometimes.
So Cindy asks, well, then how did you find out you can do that over Zoom?
Melissa, you did it. You made me do your friend because you were convinced that I could do it. Remember? You were sure somebody that had an apartment had something, and so you did it somehow. You, me, and that person, and there was, and it was like, oh my God, there is, and I could do this. Wow. No, I still can't talk to him, and I still can't get rid of him, but yeah, I can do that.
Right. Inquiring minds wanted to know.
Yes, right.
Let's see. Baylor says, I'm often roused from sleep by what sounds like a loud rap on my door. Do ghosts do this? Is this the phenomenon of an unconscious brain, or both?
No, they definitely can make noise, and knocking on doors, open closet doors, going down wherever your AC is or your furnace and just kicking the side of it where the whole house goes boom real loud. Oh, yeah. It sounds like they're dragging furniture across the attic when there's nothing up there. Yeah, no, definitely they can make noises. And you will notice it more around an eclipse because they have more energy at that time anyway with the newer full moons. But if it's an eclipse, it's like seriously ghost on steroids. They can do all of that stuff for sure.
Rhonda says, old tradition of hiring sin eaters at a wake, putting a piece of bread on the body that the sin eater eats to remove any sins for soul before passing over. What would Earthbounds do?
Well, they watch and they stand there at the foot of their casket. If there are the person that is in the casket, they're standing outside their casket with the white light around them. If there are any other EBs there, then they certainly can go into that light if they choose. That's not an individual light, that's a universal light. And sometimes the ones that are not laying in the casket are trying to convince who is in the white, going to go to the white light, don't go, stay here with me. But if I'm there, I can talk them out of that real fast. So, but again, it's choice. It's what you want to do. Oh boy.
Remember the gentleman that offered you the horse and it was just like, oh my God, imagine Marianne showing up to kill your house on a horse.
Yeah, no. Somebody offered us when Ted, one of his jobs was he was a salesman, a car salesman. And somebody came in one time and offered him a totally decked out Ghostbuster vehicle, a hearse or an ambulance, whatever that thing was. And absolutely convinced Ted that we had to have that. Could you see me pulling up to somebody's house in that? Oh my God, never, 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 never.
We're still working on the tour bus.
Yeah, right. Forget the ambulance. Here's something that's really weird.
Or the hearse. We could show up in the hearse.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I can go buy a hearse.
No, and you can buy those, yeah. No.
Mm-hmm.
We did a house last week and we got done, so we stopped for lunch. And so Ted was waiting for me to get out of my side of the vehicle, and he stands on his side. And when I get out, he locks it. And so I saw him duck down, but I thought, oh, I don't know, checking to see if somebody scratched the car or something. So we get inside the restaurant, we're sitting down, and we placed our order. And he said, look what I found outside the car. And he gives it to me. It's a keychain. And it's about this long, piece of metal, and it says on it, I see dead people, and there's a hearse on it. How did that end up by my car?
See, we have to get a hearse.
How did that happen?
We have to get a hearse.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Telling you, we just got to get a hearse. I'll start looking around.
No, well, you'll be riding it yourself to it, so I'm not going with you.
Oh, we'll put some comfy seats.
No.
Ted. Will Ted ride around in the hearse?
Only if he can wear a hat and drive it.
Yes, he can have one of those plague doctor top hats. And,
right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle says, I know you're not a medium, but do you happen to know any in the area that you trust and recommend?
Seriously, Melissa's right here. She's the person that you need to ask because she makes sure that everybody that works in her store is on the up and up. So she would be the person if you're in this area to ask.
Everybody who reads attached to my store or any events that we do are vetted. And I hear it's really nerve-wracking if your interview read is with me. I don't know why. Apparently it is. Even for like some of the healers, they're like, oh, okay, I'll let you know when I'm ready. And I'm like, what?
What do you have to do here? Right.
There's our website. If you go to the Readers Healer page, you will see who our regular practitioners, readers are that are there weekly or, on regular days of the week or month. We do have others that kind of come and go for special events, mainly because their work schedule or they're driving in from out of the area and we only get them once in a while. Like my friend Kayla, who the Zoom this coming Friday will be from her house. So she's up in the Buffalo area, but she's a really good reader healer. If you come out to the winery events, she is the lady that's usually there with like the purple and green in her hair. But we only get her a couple times a year because she's coming in from Buffalo. But go to the website, you'll get their little bios, their picture, their booking button. It's pretty easy to just walk through that. Let's see. If you can't join this Friday, the next one is the 18th, which is a Monday. It is also at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Please be aware if you're in a different time zone that you adjust accordingly for us. And we go until everybody gets to ask their questions. I know it says it stops at 9. That's just because the program requires an end time, but everybody gets to ask their questions. So with that in mind, please be respectful of the other people who have signed up and don't keep going on too long. And it really is 2 questions. We don't need your childhood history when it doesn't pertain into what's going on right now. Kind of happens sometimes.
Exactly.
Bobby says, I believe in ghosts. I worked in a dozen senior care facilities, and some residents never leave.
You are so right, Bobby. They stay forever.
Cindy asks, if I join the Zoom Friday and I smudge so the portal isn't crazy, are you going to be able to talk to Dan for me, or will I nudge him away?
I don't know what he'll do. I I have no way of knowing. I guess Smudge and come on and we'll try it or not. I don't know. Again, I'm not a psychic.
Let's see. Well, and Michelle says also, are ghosts capable of making a light bulb fall off from the ceiling at random, make fire alarms go off at random? Can you tell I might have something going on here? And that's, you might want to get on one of the
Yeah,
Zooms.
that's everything you said. An Earthbound spirit can absolutely do. Absolutely.
Let's see. Aw, it says you deserve to ride on a horse and carriage with Ted by your side.
We did actually in Texas. We did ride in a down there. We had some. Gosh, what were those horses? They weren't the Budweiser horses. They were bigger than them.
Bigger than a Clydesdale?
Yeah, Percherons.
Oh.
Oh my God, you have to pick out. Those horses are so big. Oh my God. Um, yeah, it was so funny. This man in Texas has like a dozen of them, and they were out in the grazing out in acres. I mean, way far away. They look like little dots. And he took two buckets, metal buckets, and clanged them together and made a horrible big noise. And you saw these little dots like pick up a head and start running toward us. I'm going to guess that could be registered on a Richter scale when all these horses were thundering toward us. I didn't know how they were going to stop at that fence. I'm not kidding you. And they all ran like that to get a stupid carrot. It was ridiculous, but these things were so big. Beautiful horses, beautiful.
Let's see. Rosie says, Marianne, my daughter's house is haunted and my grandkids are scared. What can I do to help her? She owns her place and can't move from California.
I talked to a lot of people on Zoom from California. She really should get on. And let's see what's going on in the house before she figures out what she can do about it. Let's see. One ghost, two ghosts. If you got grandkids, are they little ghosts, kid ghosts, or are they adult ghosts? You don't know, and do things a little bit differently. But I will make two suggestions right here that if she is affiliated with any kind of organized religion, it never hurts to have the house blessed by an ordained priest or minister. It will calm who's ever there down at least, if you're lucky, 4 weeks, but it only lasts about 3. But you'll see a difference. The other thing, of course, is smudging. And I don't know how old the kids are. I wouldn't do it with very young kids, send them to the park or to somebody's house for a couple hours. But that is not going to hurt anything. Smudging, they do not retaliate. So, but have her come on Zoom. You can't come on. You're here or wherever. You're obviously not in California. But yes, absolutely have her come on and let's see what's going on. Kids should not be afraid in their own house. That's the terrible thing.
No. Cynthia says, hi, Marianne. I left you a voicemail 2 weeks ago inquiring about a house cleansing. I don't know if you received it or maybe you're just overburdened.
Well, again, like I said in the beginning, it's taking me about 4 weeks to get back to people. I do have to, people that say that I've seen you on Zoom, you do move up a little closer because I've at least talked to you once. But no, I will get to you. Absolutely.
Oh, interesting. Whoops. Sorry, come back to you, Lewis. Says Melody asks, would you be able to do a Zoom demonstrating all the places in the home where the We Folk solution needs to be?
No, I mean, I can't pick this thing up and carry it around because it'll go dead. So, I mean, any opening, I mean, I don't think it's that hard. A window, a door, a fireplace. The problem is it's a little hard because a lot of times attics have windows. You never use them and you don't live up there, but the solution still has to be put on those too. And I, so it's pretty self explanatory. I don't think that there's any, I mean, just take a little cotton ball, a Q-tip, wet the end of it, and run it across. It don't have to make it's not a lot. A Q-tip across is all you need, but just make sure you get the whole threshold or the whole windowsill. You have to make sure you do the whole thing. But and yes, somebody said I can't get upstairs into the attic. Can I just do the door to the attic? No, these things aren't dead. They pop out of different dimensions. That's not going to stop them. You've got to figure out a way to get up there. I know you have to do it 6 times in a row. You don't want to miss 1 month because you've got to start over again. So get your get a teenage boy to come over and crawl up there on the beams and do it once a month for 6 months. Get creative. You can figure it out. It's not hard to do.
Sandy's asking, what about the vent for the dryer or high efficiency furnace and hot water heaters? Would you have to do those too?
No, I've never seen anything pop in through that. Even some of the older houses have the old coal bins with the iron door that let the coal fall in. Those don't have to be done. Milk chutes don't have to be done. Uh, Stove vents, bathroom vents, no, none of those have to be done. It's just doors, windows, fireplaces, that type of thing.
Lewis says, what was your opinion on The Sixth Sense? Did you feel seen and heard, or was it strange to see someone do what you do on TV? And I was like, which one was first, Ghost Whisperer or The Sixth Sense? Because then he asks if watching The Ghost Whisperer, was that strange for you, watching a TV show knowing that was kind of based off of you and it's out there publicly?
Right. I thought The Sixth Sense was actually pretty good. I don't know who they had as their advisor on the show, but they were good. Keeping in mind, though, that I had never seen a ghost puking or missing a head or hanging from a ceiling or looking creepy, bloody, gory. That was a TV or a movie. That's entertainment. But the coldness that would come over the kid. Now, you can walk into a room and you're not going to see your breath, but they exaggerated it. But I thought it was fairly well done. There was a movie out the same time The Sixth Sense came out. It was with Kevin Bacon, and it was about a Ouija board. And that was a terrific movie, and it got lost in the shuffle with The Sixth Sense. That one is actually a very good movie. And yeah, no, you think I can remember the name? I can't. But it came out the same time. Let me see if Mr. Brains. Do you remember that? Do you remember that movie with Kevin Bacon, Ted? They came out the same time, The Sixth Sense. That's it. Thank you, Brooke. Stir goes. You're good. You are really good.
We might have to have her and Ted sit down and we try to stump them.
Yeah,
she's got a lot of answers too.
Yeah, that was it exactly.
Oh, Lewis was close behind too.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. But that was very, very, very good. And as far as Ghost Whisperer went, I was upset that they didn't do it exactly the way I do, because if you watch that show for 5 years, she never created the white light. They just walked away.
Mm.
And that always made it seem like a little, not right. But again, entertainment. So, yeah.
Um, let's see. Teresa says, my granddaughter's only 2 and plagued with nightmares lately. She's been talking to people we can't see. She's only 2, but super smart and already talks in sentences. She will ask us, who is that? We, of course, do not see what she does. I know children are sensitive. Is it possible she is seeing like ghost earthbounds? Is there a way to make her bedroom a safe space?
Well, again, I think this would be your daughter or son, whoever your granddaughter belongs to. They really should get on Zoom. Let's see what's going on in the house, and then we can determine which way to fix it. But I think, and a lot of kids, when they have earthbound spirits in the house, they'll get night terrors. That's not unusual. And so, she probably does. And again, she's the perfect age. Kids are good. Kids can see ones that crossed over and ones that did not. So there probably is something going on. Kids are so smart now. When my girls were 4 and 7 years old, I thought they were little geniuses. I go into houses now and listen to these 2-year-olds talk and work a computer when they're 2.5 years old. Wow, these kids nowadays are so smart. And yeah, they can vocalize exactly what it is. Who is that? And that's sitting there covering their eyes. She wants to know, who is that? So yeah, let's figure it out.
There's the question about if Madison Seminary is handicap accessible. This is an old building from 1891. There are stairs, like 4 or 5 stairs get in through the front door. So it's hard to retro old buildings like that to keep them on current handicap ADA compliance. So, I mean, that's an answer, non-answer. And I guess it kind of comes down to what you might need if you're okay with a couple stairs here and there, but there's not going to be a working elevator for inside the building. So it's going to be kind of up to you, but just double checking the pictures. There's like 4 or 5 concrete, stairs to get into the building. And then, I mean, it's big and it's flat. There are multiple levels. So again, what are you able to do for yourself? But it's from 1891. So, and because it's not a constantly open to the public building that they're going to be mandated to, like put in ramps and stuff like it, which you'll find with old courthouses, because it's constantly open. This is private events that you have to book.
Well, and there's steps over at the Carousel Museum too.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's an older building too. But I was just thinking about something, our question about coming in with shots or without. The one good thing is, if we choose not to make proof, is that those buildings are actually very big buildings. You're not going to be sitting on top of one another. That's for sure. So, yeah, probably going that way, but
yeah, I mean, they're huge. Go look up the pictures online.
Yeah.
They're huge buildings.
Yeah.
And they are, for Madison, limited to 40 people for each one. So, 40 people at a time to be in this big.
Yeah, you're not on top of one another. That would probably be another reason why we could go without the requirements of the vax.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably which way I'm going.
Just
It takes me a while to make up my mind. That's all.
Oh, and good point, Julie. Thank you. Julie's like my height. Her and Sandy are my hype people here on the back end. She, Psychic Fair got to sleep last Sunday of the month. That's where we have a whole bunch in at one time, and all of the readings are 15 minutes for 20 cash. So You can kind of come in, you can even see them in person. We've had people decide who they're going to have a reading with by who they felt drawn to, like who I can't quit looking at them. I feel like I need to go sit with them. Fine, this is what they do. And we have a board, with the names and what they do, who's there that day. But that leads to, Marianne, you'll be with us at the John Christ Winery in September.
Yes.
That's where we have a whole bunch of readers. chaotic.
It's
fun.
outside and it's nice. I mean, we've been lucky. I can remember only one bad really day that we had. We've been very lucky in the fall one. So,
I mean, how many? I've been doing this for I've forgotten how many years. At least 7, at least 8.
I was just going to say 8 for sure.
Yeah, because I'm like, I've been in the new space, and I say that because it was down the road once upon a time in a tiny little thing, and we started it back there.
Right.
So, and we've only been rained on once.
Right. So that's years. Odds are good. Yeah, good. And, and so many people find it so appealing that to be able to drink spirits and
talk to spirits.
So this is, yeah.
It helps that their wine's good too. Just saying. We actually do it twice a summer. We do the second weekend in June and the second weekend in September. But Marianne, you come out in the September one because it's cooler.
Right. Yeah. Too hot in June. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find that on our website. It has its own page, Evening of Wine and Spirits. It's got the June information up now. And when that one's over, we'll kick it over to the September one. That will have Marianne listed in there. And you bring out all your books, your items, your goodies,
No, you have the books. I bring everything else.
And I'm just saying, it's all things Marianne.
But once you get it, I can set it for you. So
I schlepp the books.
You do.
Old bookstore days coming through. I sometimes miss that.
Is Lewis still on?
I think he is. Kayla Birch is the lady in Buffalo. Where are you, Lewis? Because he just a couple minutes ago put up something because he was asking like what was Tara's reaction when she could figure out what she could do. I know you mentioned that she figured it out.
She didn't believe it. She didn't want to do it. She couldn't believe it. All the older one kept saying was, "Oh my God, my mother's a Ghostbuster." Not good. It's not good. But you keep putting it off. We're old enough now to understand. Yep, we waited too long. Now we don't know what we're going to do. So it's there's not a book of rules. It's go by the seat of your pants. But I have to tell you, Lois, I had to do a place in St. Lucia, and it's a very, very, very long story, which I am not going into. But, however, I was supposed to meet Princess Margaret there. She was coming in on the Britannia on her huge, huge boat, ship, whatever they're called. And I was going to have an interview with her, but she wanted to talk to me. And so it was so weird because you have so much protocol you have to follow in England. And it was really funny because one of her people called me and asked me what my crystal was. And it's like, my crystal? Libby from Kmart? I mean, I don't have crystal. Silver? Yeah, no. He's asking me all this stuff that, no, I don't have any of that stuff. And so he said, well, okay, she'll come up with something. And I guess it was some kind of a gift she wanted to give me. And he said, and just as a side, you have to wear gloves. I says, I have to wear gloves? He said, yeah, just gloves because you can't touch your skin. And now that really aggravated me. And I'm worried about COVID, right? Okay. And so I'm thinking, and I said to this man person who I've had a very actually hard time understanding his speech, I said, is she going to be wearing gloves? He said, oh, most assuredly. And I said, well, then our skin won't touch.
Nope.
And he didn't say anything. Well, it turned out that I never met her because the morning that I was supposed to meet her, the night before, Fidel Castro showed up at the island and she had to take off. So she couldn't be around Fidel Castro for whatever political reason. I have no idea. But yeah, so it's England has a lot of very, very old fashioned rules.
Well, Lewis, he says, I think it's protocol so the royals don't get
Get
sick.
sick. Yeah. Well, never happened after it was all said and done. So I don't know what she ended up thinking the peon needed as a gift. So,
Well, Julie asks, when someone is cremated, do they still stand at the end of their coffin at the funeral?
no, when usually there is still some kind of a celebration uh, thing that goes on, and who's ever speaking at that, the person that died is standing right to their left, and their 48 to 72 hours would start after that is over if they choose to stay. But no, they're not standing at their coffin. They do not watch their body get cremated. In all the years I've done this, I only know of 3 ghosts that ever watched their body be prepared for the viewing. Seriously, who wants to see that? Nope.
So for anybody interested, there's questions about Kayla. I just asked her and she said, sure. Said, hey, do you want to do a live while I'm there? She said, sure. So if you're interested about Kayla, keep an eye on our YouTube channel. We'll go live and you can ask her questions about what she does, her healings, her readings. Because I will be there this weekend for a pop-up shop. If you're in the Buffalo area, reach out. We'll give you the address. You can come either meet me in person if you care so much, or come buy crystals and rocks and funny, not these t-shirts, but sort of t-shirts that I'll have with me while we're there.
So you'll be doing Zoom from there on Friday?
Yeah, because I'm going to leave Friday afternoon. It's a 4-hour drive for me to get there. So we'll be there from Friday through Sunday, probably heading back Monday morning to come back here. So, but yeah, if you're in that area, reach out and we'll get you the address because it's a private event. It's one of those like bring your friends, just the address isn't plastered because it is.
Right. And let me give you a quick thing here while I'm thinking about it. It just dawned on me. This Sunday is Palm Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are interested in doing curse removals and that kind of thing, if you get some of the palms when you go to the church and you bring them home, and if you take some holy water and you wipe out the inside of a pan or an ashtray, burn those palms, that ash can be used for negative energy removal. And as a little side note, that's exactly what the church uses. They burn all the old palms when Palm Sunday's over. They burn them, and that's what they use to put on your forehead for Ash Wednesday.
Recycle, reuse.
Right. So that's blessed palm. And it is really, really strong for really negative curses. Works really well.
And okay, there's other questions. So one last question. Somebody got one of your Quincy charms and it's turned black. Does that mean anything or is it just needs polish?
It just needs polish. Just remember not to put it in liquid jewelry cleaner. You have to use a cloth on any of the charms because you'll soften what is holding the seed in place. So you have to use the cloth to clean them.
Okay. And a quick thing, I see people are putting these extra little icons thinking that it makes their question stand out more to me. All that's really going to happen is if you make it too long, I don't see the whole question because only so much will show up on the screen, and in the box, I'm not going to show it. So reposting with these things doesn't guarantee I'm going to put it up there. I am reading through 7 channels. I'm looking for new people who have never asked questions before. I'm looking for new questions that haven't been asked multiple times over and already answered. So I have to keep in mind of everybody who's asking questions, all the platforms, what's going on, what's entertaining, what's not, like we've already heard this 3 times today. So, but putting little icons on there and restating over and over isn't going to get it shown quicker. I apologize, but I got to moderate 7 channels with questions and people while not being completely lost while Marianne's talking at the same time. So please keep that in mind. If you are new and there are questions, please go back. We've got like 2 years worth of these lives up. And a lot of simple, what we consider basic, and we're not calling you basic, it's just the very basic of how this works for Marianne and what she does, you will find over and over and over again in a lot of these channels, what they are, what the difference between Earthbounds and those that have crossed over, between spirit guides, the smudging affect those that have crossed over.
And there's over 3 years worth of YouTubes that are pretty much all have a title. So if you're looking for kids or kid terrors or animals or portals, love abundance, all of that is on YouTube's too, and those are about 15 minutes a piece, and they're there. If you have that big of a burning question, there's an answer somewhere on one of these channels, believe me.
I think it was like 2 years around 2020 when we were all closed and we were doing this on the stores channel. I put up a cleansing and smudging video, like things you can do and use and how to properly sage. You can go watch that one as many times as you want. It's up on the YouTube channel permanently. So sometimes it is because there's so many people and I don't see it. So it doesn't hurt to ask once or twice. But if you ask me over and over and over, and if you start throwing in, if the questions are too long, I can't even see all of your question. Those boxes only go so big. And then after that, there's nothing for me to click on to read the rest of your question. So don't make it too long. And if you keep repeating, sometimes I am just sassy and I'm like, now you're annoying me. I'm not going to do it.
Well, it's like when somebody leaves 8 messages on the same day.
So I try to go through, and when I get quiet and there's a gap between Marianne's talking and I'm not, that's because I'm reading and I'm scrolling and I'm reading and I'm scrolling at the same time. One of these days, and not today, because as soon as we get off, I got an appointment I got to get to by 12 in Illyria. But I will sit here and try to record just the amount that I get. And there is so many that I can't even get to the very first good mornings because there's so many that the system starts dropping them. So it's a lot. So bear with me. But I do
well,
try
you do a good job because you got to do 10 things at the same time. I just have to run off my mouth.
Thank you. Yes.
Really good. Right.
Because that is just me. But thank you. I just don't want people thinking I'm blatantly always trying to ignore you. Not always, like I said, just
on occasion.
Right. But I am trying to keep everybody in mind, new people, new questions, interesting questions, and trying not to ignore one channel or the other. I see sometimes Facebook's like, you never put us up. And I'm like, well, no, we've already answered that 3 times over.
Right.
We've got other questions over here. So
okay.
But all right, everybody, we will be back next Wednesday at 10.
Everybody be safe. Have a good weekend.
And watch your video at 5:30.
Yeah, do that. See how many ghosts Germany has.
I think it was Brooke or Karen. One of them was like, that is not a competition that they would want to jump in on of who can get the most.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Oh, sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
All right, bye.